just a game. We all wanna win.
Hey everyone, it's Jason. I'm going to do a component video on a brand new game that just came out shortly called Exiled Legends. It is part of the Unstable games, the guys who do Unstable Unicorns, Turtle Tees, or TeeTurtles, sorry. 2 to 5 players. I'm going to try to do a little how-to play video, and then we'll go from there and kind of show off all the different cards in it. It's available on their website, TeeTurtle.com, or I found it at GameStop. So I thought I'd pick it up. The basic idea of the game is you're playing one legend of one of 5 different colors. There's water, fire, light, dark, or unknown. And it's basically a competitive game to see who can do more damage to defeat the other person's army. It's pretty quick and goes through fast. There's the 5 different colors. Each person selects a legend, which are big oversized cards as compared to a regular card. There's different colors. And they all have different abilities and stuff, which I'll kind of go over a little bit later. And they do flip over. These guys have 2 different sides. So they have a leader side. So this is what you're basically getting some extra abilities. For either your teams, your various characters gain different abilities. Or they have Bane, which are special tokens you can play which add other effects. Or eventually your leader steps into battle, and then they look like the regular cards of the game. So you kind of compare this. They have similar abilities. Up at the top they have the different numbers which we'll go over. They have their 2 different sides of abilities, but they also still have their Bane ability they gain. And basically, if your leader is defeated, you lose. What else happens in the game is you build a deck. There are 10 creatures of each color, and you have to pick 6 of them. So there's a little bit of just right out of the box. You can have a bunch of different things. As far as I know, you can mix and match different colors and stuff too. So if you want to have, if you want to have a blue and red deck, you can. You can have 5 color decks. So you don't have to only pick 6 of the 10 characters. I sleeve these and they are giving really bad glares, so I apologize. Because I'd never heard of this. I just picked it up. I probably saw it somewhere, but I didn't know anything about it. Picked it up, so I actually went through and looked at all the cards and sleeved them all ahead of time. So the basic gameplay, how it works is, on your field, you'll have 3 different characters out. These are your heroes. You have your champion, which is up at the top of the pyramid, and your support class is down here. So then you're attacking your opponent, and some attacks will let you attack the champion, some will let you attack the support. It can be based, there's 2 different types of attacks, plus their abilities change. If one of the supports are defeated, you remove it, you draw the next card of your deck, and you put that guy down. If your champion's defeated, you get rid of him, you move one of your 2 guys up, and then you replace your support class. And then this goes through until you no longer can draw a card. Then your leader would come into play. Instead, he would take down here. And there's ways you can swap between your characters, and there's various other things. But that's basically the game. Is you're trying to defeat all your opponent's characters. So we're going to look at some of the other stuff on the cards quick. So obviously we have the name. This is a Reckless Bifang. The number 2 over here, that is its strength. That's how much damage it can deal. And the 4 is how much damage is its health. That's how much damage it can take. If it takes 4 damage, it is defeated. And then we have the fire symbol in case all the red on there didn't already indicate that. But now they have a champion and support ability. So every single hero card has both of the effects. And they're varying from card to card, from class, or from element to element, I guess would be the correct term. So for example, this one says, as a champion, during your turn, you can roll 1d6. D6 is just a regular dice with 6 sides. In case you didn't know that. On a 1 to 3, you add 1 damage counter to the Reckless Bifang, so he takes a point of damage. On a 4 to 6, you add 2 damage counters to any support. So this is a way he can basically to risk reward. You can attempt to do 2 damage to one of the player's support characters, which they're maybe trying to protect or save for later, or you might take damage yourself. If this guy's in his support position, you can instead use this ability. It says when your champion is precise attacked, add 1 damage counter to the attacking champion. So what this is saying that is during the precise attack, which I'll go over later, if he's in your support role, if his head guy's championing the party, the top guy in the pyramid is attacked, he gets to do a damage to the guy that's attacking. So he's helps. Hey, you're hitting my friend, I'm gonna hit you back. That is basically how this plays out. Is during your turn, you can do multiple things. And that's one of the things you can do is you can play these abilities. Sometimes they're automatically triggered, like this guy's. This is a Flame Reader, 1 strength, 4 defense, or 4 HP. It says when Flame Reader is precise attack, spend 1 MP to reduce the damage by 1, so you can prevent some damage. Using support, it says when your champion is precise attacked, on a roll a d6, on a 1 to 5, negate the damage. So again, he's trying to help out his team. So there are various things like that. So now to explain something else here. So at the beginning of the game, let's go back a little bit. You're going to get your leader card, and they're going to have their team attack. And this is the Naga Serpentine. It says, when your champion is precise attack, roll a d6. On 6, negate the damage. And then it has a Bane. It says, each time any player's hero with a water Bane token on it is in a champion or support position, during that player's beginning of the turn phase, add 1 damage to it. So, beginning of every turn, your character will get 1 Bane token. There's 1 for each color. And there's multiples of these, so you can have multiple Bane tokens out. It's not like you only have 1 to spend. But each turn they regenerate, so you can spend them on your turn, you can get another one. You also have mana tokens, which are either black or white. They're just flipped over, so it doesn't matter. I think the idea might be so you can flip one over so you know that you spent it, or if you just remove it from the area, whichever works for you. So these are like the MP, your mana points, and these regenerate each turn too. So during your turn, you have the option of spending 1 mana point, one of these guys. I'm going to set this guy down for a sec. Look at the phase card here. So, beginning of your turn, you do beginning of turn effects. You refresh your myth points. During your action phase, you can spend 1 of your MP to either add a Bane token or remove a Bane token. And most of the time, you're probably going to want to play that on one of the opponents. Now, this is not just a 2-player game. You can play up to 5 people, so you can have multiple people to target. Or you can remove one. Maybe you don't want it on somebody else and you want your token back to use. Or you want to take one off one of your characters. You got some options. You can remove a damage counter from your support character. You can move your champion to a support. So that way, like, if your champion's about to die, you can move him back to support, so maybe he'll take less damage. Or you can return a support that has no damage on it to your deck. So you got a guy like, I don't really like his abilities, or they're not helping me right now, let me get rid of him. But you can't have damage on him. And then this last one says, use any functional abilities that don't cost an MP. That is these ones that say, like, roll a d6 to see what happens. Then we have our attack phase. Choose one of the following: precise attack or mass attack, and then the end of the phase. So, and then here's a little quick reminder what the tokens are. So basically how a precise attack versus mass attack works is my champion decides to do an attack. He does a precise attack. He does his 2 damage to the champion on the other side, so we'll kind of scoot him down. So he'll do 2 damage to this guy. And then he has 2 damage. The way the rules state what you're supposed to do is set the damage aside off the character. Make sure you resolve any character's actions that would have to do with the damage. If you played Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something like this, most of these steps will be pretty instantaneous. You just be like, yeah, he has 2 damage, this does this, this does this, this does this, maybe he negates it or whatever. But to begin, I think they figured people maybe haven't played games. He'd set it off to the side, make sure they don't have any effects that will stop this damage or reduce it or maybe increase it. And then when everything's done, then you move it over to the character. And at the end of the total combat phase, you can see if he has 4 damage or not. Again, I think they just kind of did that so that you can keep an eye on it so you don't try and sit there and like, oh, I threw 2 damage on him, he's dead. Well, he might have something that stops it, and you can kind of see, check everything before you, oh, I got these tokens mixed up, or did he have 2 or did he have 3 on him? That kind of idea. But basically, in the end, what happens, he does 2 damage to this character. That's a precise attack. Does the total of his damage to that. Now, if it was the other direction, the Floodburst Behemoth would do 3 damage to the Chained Hellion, which would defeat him if he has nothing to stop it. But then, I do have, both of the support characters I have in that instance. Down here, say when your champion's precise attack, I can negate the damage. And when they're precise attack, I can add a count 2 damage to the other player. So it's potential you could either kill him too as well, or you can negate the damage, or you can actually do both. And that's why you gotta wait till the end to see what happens. Now, what a mass attack is we'll kind of just shift this up this direction. So if this Floodgate Behemoth here, this blue card, wants to do a mass attack, it has 3 damage. So instead of doing it directly to the champion, he's allowed to take that 3 damage and spread it among all the 3 characters. So he would do 1 damage, 1 damage, and 1 damage. And that's a mass attack. So you do less damage, but you can do it to all the characters. This is a way that you can, if you need to get rid of one of the back characters, you can, or maybe, just a different way to attack. It's kind of nifty. So again, the Behemoth I would say, presumably, would probably just want to do his 3 damage to the Chained Hellion and defeat him. But the other hand, the Chained Hellion can only do 2 damage. So maybe instead of only doing 2 to him, he might want to do 1 damage to him, 1 to somebody else, and set it up for the next turn. So there's your difference between your precise and mass attacks. And that's basically how the game goes. You spend tokens, you do abilities, do effects, whatever, then you choose to start your battle. Once you start your battle, you can no longer do any of those other effects. And then you go through, you see who wins, someone's defeated, you swap them out, you get new guys. Eventually, your leader will come into play. When that happens, you flip them over, and that is some artwork there. So now, this is a 3 attack, but 12 health. Naga the Serpentine. And now the leaders have their champion and support ability as well, but they get 2 options each turn, so they have to choose one or the other, and then they still keep their main abilities, so you can still use that. Now, they can be in the support area, or they can be up as a champion. Maybe you have them as the champion for a while, and you pull them back to support, because they're taking too much damage. And it just helps from getting them precise attacks versus the mass attacks. But if your leader dies, it's game over. That is the basic gist of the game. The one other thing that is different is while you are building your deck of 6 cards, you are also going to pull out these sphere cards, which are different locations. And there's currently right now 3 for each element. Beginning of each turn during the upkeep, you'll flip one of these over. So every player that's playing will have 3 of these. You'll shuffle them into one deck, and then they'll pull them out. So if you're playing a mono-colored fire deck, a card like this would be great. When a fire-type hero attacks, it gains 1 strength, because then all your characters would. But if you're playing 3 different colors, you might want to pick one of the different ones. But each fire one's going to do fire. You might not want to have only fire sphere cards if you have multiple colors, because then your other cards wouldn't gain an effect. Each color or element has one of these. A water type hero attacks, gains 1 strength. They each have one of those. But what this does is this affects everybody playing for that entire round. So when you flip it over, it's like, I get it. Hey, it benefits me this turn, but my opponent might get one. So it's kind of just adds another little random element to the game, which is kind of neat. And when we go through the cards, you see what all the different types are. All of these sphere cards are white on the back, just so you can tell them apart. All of the hero cards are black. So that way you don't have to worry about them getting mixed into the deck at the end of the game or whatever, trying to sort them out. And that is the basic thing of the game. During your build-up for your game, you can obviously choose however you want. There is options to do like drafting. But you win the game when your hero dies. That is the basic gist of how the game works. So now we're going to actually go through and look at all the different cards. So it's going to be I'm not going to sit here and read off every ability of every card, just because I don't want this to be a 2-hour long video and every card has a lot of text. So I will hold it up, and then if you would like to read it, you'll have ample time to read it. You can pause the video. Here are all the fire creatures. We have Reckless Bifang. We have a Chained Hellion. The artwork on this card is pretty cool. All the fire guys generally have some fire thing, water guy. There's good themes in there. We have a Flame Reader. A Blistering Barbarian. This guy actually kind of has some neat abilities. I'm going to go through a couple of them. If he's the champion, it says when Blistering Barbarian attacks, it gains 1 strength for each damage counter on it. So it can gain up to 3 strength before it's dead, basically. But when it's in support position, you can spend 1 MP to move 1 damage counter from your champion to your Blistering Barbarian. So you could put him in support, spend a couple of turns keeping your champion alive by putting damage on him, and then try and move him up and do a quick giant attack. There's always the flaw that you might die before that happens. So we have Fire Dancer. Hellhound. Card like this, when he mass attacks, he gains 1 strength. Or when your champion mass attacks, it gains 1 strength. So it's kind of like helps benefit for doing mass attacks. The Mischievous Imp. Caldera Shaman. Caldera, possibly. Firebound Dragon. The Unstable Chimera. Possibly a node to Unstable Unicorns in the Unstable games. Here are the water creatures. We have a Floodburst Behemoth. An Aqueous Ray. Cold-Blooded Siren. A Leviathan. Kind of looks like Swiper. Oracle of the Depths. And this one gives spend 1 MP to rearrange the top 3 cards of the Spear deck. And this is so you can plan out your turns better. If you're playing like a 3-player game, you could be like, oh, which one do I want on my turn? And you could set it up that way. So it's kind of a nifty thing to have there. I mean, blue, like we play Magic the Gathering, stuff tends to be the card manipulation, and this, manipulation deck just kind of follows the same way. Resourceful Spider Crab. Sea Snake. And then this naturally has an add X damage counters to Sea Snake. Your champion gains X strength. So you can damage him any amount to gain extra. The Venomous Hydrozoan. It's a mouthful. The Saltwater Gorgon. Now it's kind of neat here. When Saltwater Gorgon precise attacks, add 1 Bane token to its target. It's just a way to get a Bane token out without you having to use it for your action for the turn. And a Terrarium Turtle. These are the dark cards. We have Blade Wing Demon, the Brutish Orc, the Flesh-Eating Warlock, Angrot Goblin, Gremlin Infiltrator, Masked Mercenary, Master of Puppetry, Shadow Scorpion. Just add 1 MP to add a Bane token. Gets you an extra chance to do that. Inkblood Banshee, who has an attack of 5, but it cannot precise attack. So you can only spread it amongst everybody, but that's still pretty nice. And your champion cannot be precise attack if it can support. The Hooded Mantis. Now on to the light cards. The Avenging Angels. Crane Ascetic. The Drunken Monk. The Golden Sprite. Harpy of Light. Ironclad Pegasus. The Luminous Lion. Pixiu. Radiant Archon. The Ravenous Griffin. Now these are the unknowns, so like fire, water, light, dark, kind of backwards. So this is the 5th type, which is kind of like the, you know, it's the weird one. You're gonna notice all the cards have some sort of eye in their artwork. I thought this was kind of a neat thing. It's an eye for the symbol. So we have Analig Mindsucker, the Illusionist, Faceless Maiden, Demon of the Haze. It says roll a d6 on a 5 or 6, return Demon of the Haze to the bottom of your team deck. So it's a good way, like, oh, he's about to die because he only has 2 hit points. He gets 1 hit point, you can put him back. Shapeshifter, strength equal to the strength of any player's champion. And support is equal to any champion's. Shapeshifter support ability is your champion's support ability. So that could be some neat combos you could do with that. Phantasmal Raven. Three-Eyed Fox. The Cryptic Wispwalker. Sorry for the extra noise. My heater decided to kick off. Or on, rather. The Unicorn Arbitration. So now we've got an unstable card and a unicorn card. So we got unstable unicorns. Chasm Worm. And then a bunch of the player cards. And then lastly, we have our champions. So I use cards. Oh, not lastly yet. We still have to go through, before we do the champions, let's go through the spheres quick. Suspended Inferno. The Stone Melt. Magma Peaks. And again, these will change every single turn, so their effects are kind of neat, but they're very random, and they may help you one turn, may not help you. Tranquil Waters. Maelstrom. Turbulent Seas. The Moonlit Alley. Valley of the Night. The Eerie Forest. Cloudgate. Radiant Skyway. Aurelian Cave. The Web of Entropy. Restless Abyss. And the Maw of the Cosmos. Alright, now we can go on to the legends. So we have Hercule the Mountain. or Hurkle the Mountain. And your champion attacks on a roll a d6 on a 1, add 1 damage counter to it. On a 6, it gains 2 strength. It's a little risk reward. Each time any player's hero with a fire type Bane token on it takes damage, add 1 damage counter to it. He's a 3/14. I love the artwork changes, they get a little bit more aggressive. And I'm not going to read all these abilities, but we'll put them up there for you. So we've already kind of looked at Naga the Serpentine, the water. It says, when your champion is precise attack on a roll of 6, negate the damage. Any player with a Water Bane token on champion or support during that beginning of the turn has 1 damage. Add 1 damage to it. So he's a 3/12. There are her abilities. I'm not really sure, I guess. The Dark, we have Nyxia, Queen of the Night. When your champion attacks, roll a die. On a 6, add 2 damage counter to any player's support. Each time a player with a Dark type Bane token takes damage, add 2 damage counters to that hero and remove a Dark Bane token from it. So it does add 2, but you have to then spend another turn playing another counter on it. And how does she change? She changes kind of creepily. 4/11. And there are her abilities. Lightbringer Ethros. And he's got, when your champion attacks, roll a dice. On 6, move 1 damage counter from it to any other player's champion. If they have a light type Bane token, it cannot precise attack. Each time a light Bane token is removed from any player's hero, add 1 damage counter. 3/10. She's got a little less health than some of the other ones, but I think he also has a bunch of healing effects. Or light cards in general have healing effects, so you can afford it. And finally, we have the Unknown, the Obelisk. When any one of your heroes is destroyed, roll a die. On 6, return to the bottom of your team deck. Any player's hero with an Unknown Bane type token has no champion or support ability. Each time any of that hero with an Unknown Bane token is destroyed, add 1 damage counter to one of that player's supports. And this guy, and there's the eyeball. And some energy beams. He's a 0 attack, 15 deep or 15 health. So he can't attack, but that's because he has some unique abilities. And he's the only one I'm going to go over because it's different. So you can, as a champion, remove up to 3 damage counters from him, or add 2 damage counters to him to add up to 6 damage counters distributed amongst any number of heroes. So he can take damage, he has quite a bit of health, so he can sacrifice it to do 6 to anybody. Again, if there's multiple players, that's even better. And then he can also spend a turn just removing 3 of those damage counters. So you kind of gotta defeat him quicker than he can keep healing himself. If he's in support, you can spend 1 MP to gain, your champion gains 3 strength, so you can boost up the other characters. Or spend 2 to return a hero from your graveyard to the bottom of your team deck. So what's kind of neat with that is you can actually keep spending 2 MP, put a hero from your graveyard in your deck, and then as long as this guy's in support, you can spend another thing to put him back out of play, out of harm's way if he has no damage counters, and play the other guy. So that is Exiled Legends. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I have yet to actually play this game, so hopefully I explained the rules well enough. I was kind of going off the book. There's probably other little minor things or questions there might be. And if you pick up the game, you can answer them. If you leave a comment, I'll try and explain it. After I played some games, I'll have some better answers, hopefully. Catch y'all later. Bye.